All right, welcome. This is one of the first videos I'm going to start doing here for Photocarves. I'm helping out a brother named Jason. He's from Australia. Sent me over a photo that he'd like to um, see what the settings are, maybe learn how to do it. I'm not sure, what his experience is with the CNC world, and I'm cool with that. I'm willing to. I didn't know, so I'm willing to help out and give back. So that's what we're here doing. This is Big Nick's Designs. Um, and I'm just showing you my process from start to finish and my thought process on how I select my bit. I just run a couple different things. My settings are pretty common, um, but my process leading up to it and my process after it is where it differs. And things that I look for, I'm just kind of trying to give people insight and kind of hopefully I'll help you guys eliminate some of the issues that you're having and just gain more confidence in photo selection and things like that. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and if I can help make that a little bit easier process, that's what we're going to try to do. So this gentleman shot me over a picture of his looks like his father. Um, Pretty cool. So I use a program. You can use any of the different AI image rescalers, all that. I'm just using this so I can make the photo bigger. I don't really need it. A lot of these apps. This is Topaz, the photo AI. Um, they have free ones out there. You don't need to use, and I'm not using it to. I'm not trying to use it to recover any faces. I'm just doing. I want to upscale it. That's all I'm trying to do. This photo here, I'm gonna have to take it into Photoshop and skew it so that it's square. I'm not going to go through that process, but I just wanted to show you the difference sometimes. Sometimes these AI things, and don't get me wrong, I love using AI. I have Firefly, I do Midjourney, all that stuff. Um, but you can tell they look plasticky. You look at a photo and um, it has to have some grit. I mean, look at this picture. This picture is amazing. He looks like he's cleaning his rifle. But I'm not sure if this is during war. I mean, it looks like some canopies that could be. They're out hunting. I'm not sure. Maybe they're in the outback. I don't know. I mean, he is from Australia, so I'm making assumptions here. But the beauty of this picture is the grit, and so we're not gonna. I don't want to try to get too far from that. And sometimes, and I'm not sure how my screen recording looks on your laptop or computer or phone, but on my computer, it just looks. It just loses it. It smooths it out. Don't get me wrong. Better than nothing. But I'm not. I don't. I could care less about the plasticky faces. So I want to keep that. I'm just trying to rescale it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the face recovery. I just want it to be bigger. So let's go ahead and just make it. I'm going to upscale it 4 times. Um, there's different options. However you're going to do it. I just want a bigger picture. That's it. So that's all I'm bringing it in here for. Um, and I'm going to wait for this to finish, and I'm going to save it. And okay, it's in that folder. It's a new one, and I'm going to save that. Takes just a moment, resizing it. So it'll be a pretty large photo. It's about 20 megabytes, and while it's doing that, there's a there is software within Aspire that you can use to um, mess around with the contrast and turn the photo into a grayscale. I recommend all that. But if there are times when there's photos, if you're good at Photoshop, you can go into Photoshop and learn the different filters they have. You can apply filters with different apps. Um, but once you know what you're looking for, you can kind of. I mean, I have an app that I use. I have a software that I use that it's not free, but I use it enough. It made it worth its time. So I've been doing this for a little while, and not just the wood carving. So this software is called Silver Effects Pro, but it's just a black and white photo filter, and you'll see, they just have different presets. That's all it is. So there's different apps that do that, um, and you go through what I'm looking for when I'm trying to. My mindset is okay. How clear is the face and the hair compared to the background? I'm not sure if you can see my mouse up here on the hairline, but there's definitely a contrast. The only time that we have an issue is right here behind the ear, but the ear, we're good there. I mean, everything else, all the details, there's a lot of pop, there's a lot of contrast, there's very good detail in the shirt. Those are all things that we can gain in this photo carve that are going to make your photo carve pop out compared to. Um, we're just going to give you a little more confidence. That's what I'm trying to do. Is just give you more confidence what to look for when you're selecting a photo or a filter. Sorry. And yeah, there's other cool ones. There's some that just give it a different kind of texture or tone. And this is actually a good one too. But let me see between the two. You know what? Let's go with that one. It's called Wet Rocks. For some reason, they called it Wet Rocks. But you can see it keeps the photo to be a little grainy. So what I'll do is now I'll save that one. And then we'll just put it in the downloads folder. And I'll just call it test or Jason. Let's go Jason A number one. So now that we have a photo that we're ready to bring into, we like the way it looks. We like the contrast, and not every photo needs this. I just did it because I can, and I want to give him the best possible. This is what I would do. What I'm going to give you here is actually if you were a paying customer and you came into my garage, is where my shop is, and or sent me an email, and you sent me a photo. This is exactly what I would be doing. So what I would carve is going to be from this photo. So I'm going to take this photo. I'm going to bring it into Aspire. You can use VCarve Pro. I think 10.5 and up all have Photocarve as a part of the software. Um, Now that we're in Aspire or VCarve Pro, I like to hold down the Shift key when I go to create a new folder or file. And I'll show you here in a moment. And plenty of people do this, not just me. But what it does, it unlocks over here on the left the modeling resolution. It gives you maximum. Maybe it does extra stuff, maybe it doesn't. But anyways, Jason asked if I can make this about 300 millimeters wide. I had to convert that because I'm a dumb American, and it ended up being 11.811 inches. We're just going to call it 12. So Jason, you're just going to deal with that. But the settings will be the same. Let's just go with 12 inches wide. And I'm not sure about the height. That's obviously a landscape photo, so let's just go 10 inches high. I know we're going to have leftover space. The thickness isn't going to matter. I carve on half-inch MDF a lot. 3/4 is the same, but we're not going anywhere near that depth. And he even wants to do some carving around the outside, just some V carving, some text, and even with that, the half-inch depth is going to be perfectly fine for him. And so where you set up your machine, I prefer off the surface. That way I know my machine is flat, so I'm good. But here we are. Anyways, let's go. Wasting time. So all this is stuff you guys should already know. I'm not going to walk through all the tools. We're going to get right into it. Just waiting for the Aspire to kick on. Let me go ahead and close down some of these other apps because they're eating up some of my RAM. And the screen record is too. So let's go ahead and just import that photo. And so this will be up here in the import bitmap top left. And so let's just bring in that Jason A1 photo that I saved. And here we go. So it takes up the full screen, which is cool because my clamps are at the top and the bottom anyways on my machine, especially on something this small. That gives me enough room to run my clamps up at the top as a tool hold down or as a hold down. So this is 10 inches by 10 inches wide or 10 inches tall by 12 inches wide. We got the photo. The manipulation we could do if we didn't do it before is we can come over here to the bitmap editor and make adjustments within the app. I'm not sure why my Aspire is going so slow, and I think it's the other app that's eating up all my RAM. or it could be the chainsaw down the street, which is just amazing timing. Yeah, looks like a. Okay, here we are. That was weird. Um, so this is the bitmap editor that comes with Aspire or Vectrix, any of the Vectrix products. But you can turn your photo into a grayscale here. Ours is already done. I have the software, so I use it. There's more. I have. It's just easier, so I don't use what's in here. You can use here. I did. I started off with this. I just there's limitations. So if you can avoid having to use the in-app editor, you're gonna if you have filters on another app, just use those. They're gonna be better. So let's just go ahead and close this out. But I was just showing you that for examples in case you didn't have a Photoshop. You're not going to get this much of difference. You're not going to be able to produce this contrast within the app within Vectrix software, but it's better than nothing. But let's move forward. So I'm done working with anything on the left, and now we're going into toolpaths. So select the photo, come right up in here to VCarve or the Photocarve. I always start off with 0.07 depth in inches. So you're going to have to figure that out, Jason. You're going to have to convert it over into millimeters. But 0.07 inches, make sure you remember that. And then my step over is 0.04. That really doesn't come into play much. Maybe just the carving speed. So, and on this one, because it's so small, um, before I even opened it up, I already knew that we weren't going to be able to get a 60-degree V bit to look anything like a 30-degree. So if you can have the option to get a 30-degree, the end result is just going to be phenomenally better. And I can show you I can show you the difference between the two and why I just automatically just jump to a 30 on this one. I carve photo carves typically with a 60. I would say 85% of the time it's a 60-degree V bit. But on these smaller, anything under about 16 inches, you're already kind of jumping down in photo quality as far as detail, what the 60-degree can do. So I just eliminate that and just immediately go jump to a 30. And these settings work on a 30. Excuse me, I got allergies up here. 30-degree V bit. I buy. I mean, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but this one is from Sky One. I've had it for this has lasted a lot of carves. I would probably say I've gotten about 30 carves out of it. This 30-degree V bit. So if you take care of them, it's a good quality tool. It's Sky One, and you just look them up. You'll find them. It's a raster carve. So typically, what I do is I come in on these smaller ones because I want to save the ridges. The line spacing is the width of the white, the top part, the space between the ridges, and you can find that out by changing this number and just continuing looking back and forth and comparing. But that's a lot of that is things I had to learn. But on a 30-degree V bit, just for example's sake, let's just start off with the 115 and the max depth at 0.07 depth, and we'll label it. So we'll call it 30-degree bit 0.07 depth and 115% spacing. That's just so we know if we go to compare a few, we know that toolpath. So let's go ahead and calculate that up. I bet you it's going to look good right off the bat. There's nothing. The picture is a great picture. So, and I already know what the toolpath. I've done enough of these, but I'm sure this is going to be nice. So let's go ahead and preview this one. This small, I'm thinking it's going to take about an hour and 20-30 minutes. That's kind of what my guess would be. Yeah, this this is awesome. So you can see I fill it with black, nothing special. But yeah, man, this size for this size of a carve, being 12 inches, and yeah, I mean this is phenomenal. I would have no problem carving this uh, straight off the machine. Yeah, I mean it's just so weird how, and the MDF helps too. So if you're, the grain of the wood is also going to help with some of the shadows, these little light ones in the shirts, things like that, the ones in the faces. The different grains kind of sometimes help you with that. And then obviously the pattern, the direction. But let's go ahead and let's do it again. And I really do like that spacing. That 115 is good on a 30 degree. You want to be able to protect those lines. They're really thin, so it's not like a 60. They're half as thick as a 60 degree, right? So they're gonna be deeper and taller ridges. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. With all these ridges, so when you go to sand them, you're gonna start snapping them off, or they're gonna start breaking in all the dark areas. In the light areas, not so much. They'll get filled up. You'll have to come back through with like a razor blade sometimes and clean out some of the grooves in some of the nicer detailed areas. And that'll be for another video when I show you guys some of the tips and tricks for the finishing part and the cleaning and the spray paint and all that. But like as far as settings goes, this is pretty legit. But let's go ahead and run it again um, with changing this out. So let's drop this. Another number I use is 0.05 inches. Remember, not Jason, for you, it's make sure you convert this to millimeters. But I'm at 0.05 inches. Let's look at it the same exact thing, 0.05 depth. And let's see how that looks. And then we'll compare the two. Or you can pause it and just maybe do a screenshot of the other one. And see what the 0.05 depth, how much more detail that adds. So I can see it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it at home, but there's definitely more detail in this one than the last one. But there's a price, right? So we have to how confident are you in your sanding skills? Um, I'm not saying you can't do this with spray paint. I wouldn't do it. Um, I mean, I haven't used spray paint in a long time. I've tested it enough times, and I've gone back to it thinking, oh, maybe I'll try it again, and nope, it's not what I'm. It's not effective. But yeah, I mean these are both good settings. I let's see. I like the. Let's reset it and no, cancel. Sorry about that. Let's reset. Get rid of that. Let's preview this one again. So it really comes down to how comfortable you are sanding, and so that little bit of spacing that we gained by going a little deeper is going to save us there. So yeah, I would run that one, but let's do this. Let's try to see if we can make a 60-degree bit look good at that size, and we'll go back to kind of what my original settings are. So this is kind of bonus. So let's go back to the 60-degree bit. Um, and we'll set that one up at 100%, 45 degree. And let's just kind of see what 60-degree bit does on this small of a carve. Sorry, that was my hand hitting the microphone. I'm just labeling it. I don't think this is going to look good at all, but watch this. And you can even see the amount of lines. There's just not a lot. So watch this. So this is the 60 at 100% spacing, 0.07 depth, which is my most common depth. That's why I start there because I know that's a pretty safe place. I mean, it's all right. I mean, if you've never done one before, this is very common. Like this is a first timer. This is something I would have done my first couple times, Then when I started, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I tested a lot of different things. There wasn't a lot of information. I'm just letting you guys know there wasn't a whole lot. There was a couple guys that were doing a few of these. Come to find out, there was a bunch of guys that were getting really lucky. with their settings. They couldn't tell me. I mean, I wanted to know why and how to make things look better. I wasn't happy with this. I'm not saying this is bad. I just knew that this software, for the price you pay for it, they could do better. I mean, if they can make 2.5D carves, they could do this. This is just backwards. So, um, yeah, I just know it can do better. So let's try to do it again. Let's just change that. We're going to go right back into that one. So here's what happens when you change it to 0.05 depth. And this is I mean, this is a really good way to learn um, kind of what the different settings do. It's better than practicing it on wood and time. Because once you see that, that's actually not bad. See how we still have. Let's go back to the settings. Look, we didn't change the line spacing, but we changed the depth to 0.05. And this is not actually bad. So if you have a 60-degree bit, this would actually not be a bad carve if this is all you had. So there you go. We can make a 60-degree V bit look good. The thing that you're going to have issues with is these areas right in here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. The dark areas. When you go to sand these, you have to be quick in this area. Because then the longer you sit on these areas that are really thin, they start to look like areas that look like that. And all of a sudden now you got really thick lines here. And then they start to look like these thick lines in the face. And then all of a sudden your background and your face start matching. And see up here in the hairline, with this bit, once you start getting into this area here and you start sanding off some of this hair detail, it's going to start looking like this. Once you get to this, there's no going back. We can kind of do some things to fix it. We can paint it over again and kind of fill in the white areas and mess with it, but you can tell you don't want to have to do that. But this actually isn't bad. I would roll with this. It's going to look more retro, right? And that looks more like pop culture-y, because of how thick the lines are. But this would actually not be too bad either. So the settings on this one for the 60-degree V bit, I would run 0.05 depth. My step over would be 0.04 inches. It's just a typical V bit, 60-degree V bit. I think this one is one of Cody's from Cadence. Is one of his down cuts is what I've been running lately. I run a raster and 100% line spacing. You can go narrower. Problem you're going to have is all the dark areas, and sanding problems. So if you've never sanded some of these more detailed Photocarves, do yourself a favor and move really quickly. Do it like you've done it before. You can see in some of my in all my old videos. I haven't done any videos where I show you my editing process, but all my videos show the finishing. They're all the same: shellac or clean them, shellac them, paint them black, sand them. A good sander helps. So this is the preview of the 60, and it's not bad. It definitely could be better. Um, yeah, I mean, they look better in person. They always do, especially if you know how to sand them. But see, at an angle, it's kind of cool because you can see the darkness in the neck. This is how it's going to look. It's weird with all the little white lines, but you've done enough of these. You'll be able to see if you sand it correctly. The detail in the neck area, it'll pop out. It'll be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this comes out for you. Yeah, man. If you have any questions, if anybody has any input, I'm always open. I've done enough of these. I've spent enough money testing things out. I like to I like to I like to have consistency, and so I carve a lot on MDF. I know people do great jobs on maple and cherry. I've seen some really awesome photo carves on some of these other guys' projects. MDF for me, I mean, for me, I think for me, this is how I look at it, and we're all different, and I'm not knocking anybody the way that they approach this. I think I think we've all picked up things from each other, but the way I kind of look at it is that the customer is really they want the image. I mean, I know it's a nice piece of wood. Yeah, it's a piece of cherry or maple or something. And it's like that's cool, but the room for error gets messed up. I mean, obviously it'll mess you up if you mess up both sides. And I like consistency. It's just safer for me, cheaper. MDF just gives me good, clean lines, and ultimately, they look at the photos like it's art, and maybe it isn't to them like wood. They don't know. They're not really judging that. They appreciate it because of the photo that's on there and how good the photo looks on that material. Um, so that's how I kind of look at these photo carves. And you'll see that's why I like the MDF. I get better results and more consistent results. I'm sure, you know, if I have enough pieces of wood, I'd practice on other ones. But these settings, they're pretty universal. The 30-degree V bits on those other materials, make sure you dial in with your feeds and speeds. I don't talk about those a whole lot on mine because you guys don't have my machine, and I don't have yours. I know what works on mine. The software isn't going to change. This doesn't. The feeds and speeds, um, it needs to be at a comfortable speed. But something this size, 12 inches by 12 inches, so 300 millimeters by 300 ish. Um, this should with a 30-degree V bit, this should take you about maybe an hour, if that, maybe an hour and a half if you have like a really slow machine. Um, but still, an hour and a half. That's a good. Let's, let's take a peek at the 30-degree again compared to that 60 before we shut this off. And so this is going to be that 30-degree V bit, the detail in that one compared to. And see, these lines are so thin that you can see like stuff in the shadows um, at different angles. So you'll see there was something in the background back there, right? You can see like some sort of bench or something, but you won't get that in the 60. So this is just to show you what we lose by going up a bit. Sorry for how long the video is. Yeah, you can still kind of see. Yeah, you can still see the bench. What am I talking about? I'm ridiculous. But there definitely is a difference. So it really just comes down to what you got on hand. I mean, I would go with a 30. You can do the 60. I think they're both gonna look good. I know the client is your mom, so it's up to you. I would, if you've never done one, just go with the 60-degree V bit. If you really want to challenge yourself, do the 30. It really just comes down to the sanding part and how reliable your machine is. How rigid, I guess is what they say. I'm don't listen. Hey, I'm a moron. Don't listen to me. But I've done enough of these. I kind of know some things on these things. I'm not the guy, but I'm the guy that likes to help. So take it or leave it. This is it. I would go with if you're new, go with the 60-degree. This is a 12 inch by 12 inch ish, 0.05 depth. Your step over is 0.04, and these are in inches. 94% line spacing, 45-degree angle, 60-degree V bit. That's that one. And then if you feel a little more confident in your sanding, but you want to give it a shot, but you want more detail and you really want to see what's up, let's go with the point zero 0.07 depth inches, point zero 0.04 step over, but with a 30-degree bit. So make sure that your machine's dialed in before you run this. But I would run this at 115 spacing. Those are the settings I would run. Um, I like the detail, the fine detail that the 30s give you. Um, but what I don't like about them is the rigidity of the ridges, and there's just sometimes there ends up being a lot of work that you end up having to fix. And once you start breaking those ridges, and they're in large areas, um, it really just kind of messes with the whole texture of the image. And if you've done enough of these, you start to understand what I'm talking about. Um, you want to try to preserve as much of the ridges as you can, even in the dark areas. So 115 is where I would go. Like I would sell that, and then the 45. So 30-degree V bit, 7.07 inches depth, 0.07 guys, and 115% spacing. I'm comfortable with that. I would shoot that out, and I would think that about an hour. And let's see what the toolpath times are. So with a 30-degree V bit, it's saying it's only about 40 minutes. I'm going to say an hour. An hour is safe. Um, Heck, with the 60-degree V bit, it's saying that one's jamming at 400 inches a minute. It's saying 11 minutes. And I know that's not even anywhere near how long it's going to take. But yeah, this is it. Sorry, that looks horrendous. But yeah, that's it, man. This is it's gonna be a cool photo. This is an honor to be able to record something like this. So yeah, and I'll put the edited photo. I'll send that back to you, and I'll screenshot the settings for both of these, and I'll put those in a file. And you could do that's what I would run. Take a look at it on your machine. Remember, make sure you're setting it up for um, maximum resolution. The other thing too is make sure you're going down into this just shows you that how the simulation quality. Put that at maximum as well. That's going to give you your best preview. If it takes you a little bit longer, it's worth it because at least it gives you an idea of how it's going to look in the end. I don't know how fast your processor is on your computer, but this is a great picture to carve. I love it. Um, yeah, man. If I was bored and had some extra MDF lying around, I might throw this on something. But yeah, and so you can also we can go smaller. Um, the 30-degree bit's going to be a little more forgiving image wise. But if you want to carve something like a name or you know anything on there, you can just V carve over the top of it. They actually come out pretty cool looking. If you look at my YouTube videos, there's a boxing one I've done where I've had text right over the guys, a couple kids. There's a few that I've had where I've had text right on the, and I've done some plaques, some funeral plaques, things like that, some memorial piece, a lot of memorial pieces actually, lots of memorial pieces. Um, but yeah, scripture, all that stuff, man, it all looks great next to these. So hopefully this helps you guys step your game up. You want to send me over a photo, you want to buy me a coffee, you want to buy me some sandpaper. That's actually what I should call it, right? The sandpaper fund. Um, yeah, man, shoot me over a little. I don't know how this stuff works, but yeah, if this helps you get any better at photo carving and helps you get some really cool gifts, you know, a lot of it's going to be the finishing process. These are just things I look for in a photo. Um, you don't necessarily, like I said, you don't need to use the apps I use as long as you can get your photo to have good clean resolution around the head, the faces, right? Those are the focal points. The other parts of detail, like say if they're holding something, you want that to kind of show. You got to help highlight those areas. This photo didn't really require me to do a whole lot of that, which is cool. But not all photos are this easy. I mean, I really could have just done it straight from the photo you gave me, but since I had the software, let's roll. Um, Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and let's carve some wood. And all glory goes to God, man. Thank you guys. Hope this helps, Jason.